Have you ever walked through your front door and something felt off? Not dirty, not messy, just flat, stale. Like the air had forgotten you live here. That was me, last November. It was the first cold night of the season. I came home after visiting my sister, turned the key, stepped inside, and paused. There was no scent, no warmth, just silence and the smell of nothing. I stood there with my coat still on, and I thought, when did my house stop greeting me? I used to think a home that smelled good needed candles, diffusers, fancy sprays from the store. But it turns out, all it needed was me, to show up, to care, just a little, each day. Because the truth is, scent isn't just about freshness, it's about being present. When a home has no scent, it starts to feel like no one truly lives there. And when you're older, living alone, it's easy to let that quiet creep in without even noticing. And maybe you've felt it too, that quiet ache, that fear you're fading into the background of your own home, that the air doesn't remember you were here. But here's the gentle promise. You don't need to overhaul your life. Just 10 tiny habits. Little things you can do today. No stress, no lifting, no rushing. To help your home smell warm, alive, and like you again. I've tried them myself. So have the calmest, kindest older women I know. They don't aim for perfection, just peace though. And their homes always smell like someone still cares. And the final habit? It's not about cleaning at all, but it might just be the reason your bedroom smells better when you wake up. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? And how has your relationship with your home been lately? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. Let's begin with one habit that takes less than a minute, but makes your entire hallway breathe easier. 1. The morning window ritual. Do you open a window first thing in the morning, even just for a few minutes? One of the kindest habits I've learned is to open a window each morning, no matter the season. Just a crack, just long enough to let yesterday's air leave and today's begin. Even in winter, I open the kitchen window while the kettle heats. 5 minutes, that's all. The shift is small but real. It's not about cooling the room. It's about clearing the air. My friend Helen, who's 71 and lives alone in a little house in Vermont, told me something that stayed with me. She said, I open the window each morning because I want the world to know I'm still here. She doesn't light candles, she doesn't use sprays, but her home always feels alive and somehow hopeful. Many of us, as we get older, worry about drafts or the cost of heat or just forget the ritual of air. But stale air isn't just about scent. It can change the way your day feels. When the house holds yesterday too tightly, it becomes harder to begin again. For a long time, I thought keeping everything closed was a sign I was being careful, but I was really just clinging to stillness. And that stillness made me feel tired before the day even began. One breath of fresh air can do more than lift the smell. It can lift the weight. A study by the Environmental Protection Agency found that indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air, even in cities. And sometimes, that pollution isn't just physical, it's emotional. You can do this too. Open just one window while you make tea or brush your hair. It's not about the temperature, it's about permission to feel new again. What's the one window in your home that might enjoy being opened again? Tell me below. You might inspire someone who forgot how that little ritual feels. And once the air begins to move again, there's something else in the house that starts to soften. Something that quietly holds more scent than we realize. 2. Refresh the soft things. Do you have a favorite blanket or pillow that hasn't been washed or aired out in months? Scent clings to soft things. Cushions, throws, curtains, even the towel you always reach for. One of the gentlest ways to refresh your home's scent is to pick one soft item each day and let it breathe. You don't have to wash everything at once. Just shake it. Drape it near a window. Mist it with a little water and a drop of essential oil. Lavender, eucalyptus, or whatever scent feels like home to you. The softness begins to speak again. Ruth, a retired piano teacher I visit sometimes, has a beautiful habit. She hangs her living room throw outside every Thursday, no matter the weather. She says, "I don't clean it, I let the week go." That blanket has been with her through illness, holidays, long naps, and even grief. And yet, every Thursday, it smells like sunlight. The truth is, soft things carry more than dust. They carry stories. And for many of us, those stories haven't been touched in years. We fear losing the memory or disrupting a silence we've grown used to. But memories don't live in musty cushions. They live in you. And when the fabric is aired, so is your spirit. I once kept my late husband's armchair cushion untouched for 3 years. I didn't dare move it. Then one day, I noticed it smelled stale. It didn't smell like him anymore. It smelled like a room I hadn't entered fully since he passed. I washed it, cried, and then, for the first time in years, I sat in it. It didn't erase him. It welcomed me back. A hospice nurse once told me, "We clean fabric not to forget, but to remember what we're still living in." That sentence changed the way I treat the soft spaces around me. You can do this too. Pick one pillow, one towel. Let it breathe today. You don't have to do the whole house, just one softness at a time. What's one soft thing in your home that deserves to exhale again? Let me know below. Maybe we'll all pick something together this week. And as those fabrics begin to feel fresher, you might start noticing something else, something small and forgotten that carries scent more than anything else we touch. 3. Wipe the forgotten handles. When's the last time you cleaned the light switch in your bedroom? It sounds so small, but those handles, knobs, and switches, we touch them dozens of times a day, and scent clings to them more than we think. A gentle wipe with warm water and vinegar, or just a soft cloth with a drop of lemon oil, can make a surprising difference. Start with just one, the handle of your fridge, or the knob on your favorite drawer. The moment you touch it, you'll feel like you're returning something to order. My friend Virginia, who's 76 and still makes homemade biscuits every Saturday, told me this: "When I wipe down the handles, I'm not cleaning. I'm saying thank you to the parts of my home that carry me." That line stayed with me because she's right. The door handles open our routines. The switches guide our nights. And yet, we rarely think of them until they're sticky or dull. There's a quiet fear, I think, that as we get older, the little things don't matter anymore, that no one's coming over to notice, that there's no need to fuss. But the truth is, these small acts are not for visitors. They're for us, for the woman who still lives here, who still wants to feel proud, even in the ordinary. I remember one evening, I wiped the bathroom doorknob while waiting for the tub to fill. Just a tiny motion. And afterward, the room smelled faintly of lemon. But more than that, it felt tended to, like someone was home. A study in Healthy Aging Journal once noted that older adults who perform microcare rituals in their space experience greater mental clarity and emotional steadiness. It doesn't take a full cleaning day. Just small signs of intention. You can do this too. Wipe just one handle today. Or maybe the edge of a light switch. You don't need bleach, just a soft cloth. A moment of connection. Which part of your home quietly asks for your touch again? Share it in the comments. I'd love to know which forgotten little corner you're bringing back to life. And speaking of forgotten, there's one space in the house that can quietly affect the entire scent of your home and your heart. Most of us try not to open it unless we have to. But today, we're going to peek inside gently. 4. The weekly fridge check. Have you ever opened your fridge, smelled something strange, and quickly closed the door? Pretending it wasn't there? The fridge is such a private space, isn't it? It holds our intentions, our leftovers, our forgetfulness, and sometimes our grief. But here's something I've learned. A fridge that's regularly checked, even just one shelf at a time, keeps your home from carrying the scent of old food or old memories that no longer serve you. Each week, I make a small ritual of it. I pour a little warm water with baking soda, wipe down one shelf, and toss one expired item. That's it. Nothing overwhelming, just a soft refresh. Years ago, my neighbor Carol, she's 80 now, opened her fridge and showed me a tiny glass jar with a date from 2011. It was a mustard her late husband loved. She hadn't touched it since he passed. She smiled, then said quietly, "I don't think I kept it for him. I think I kept it to avoid deciding anything." That hit me in the chest, because I understood. Sometimes we hold on, not to the food, but to the era it came from. And we think letting go means forgetting. But really, it means we're making space to breathe again. There's a quiet shame in expired things. They remind us of good intentions, of meals never made, of people no longer at our table. And that's why it's hard. Not because it's a task, but because it's emotional. I'll be honest. The first time I cleaned out my fridge after my husband passed, I cried over a half-used jar of apricot jam. It wasn't the jam, it was the Saturday mornings. The toast, the quiet we shared. But when I let that jar go, I felt the kitchen exhale, like it had been waiting for me to come back fully. As someone once said to me in grief counseling, "You're not throwing away the memory, you're throwing away the mold." That quote changed how I see this tiny habit. You can do this too. Open your fridge, choose one shelf, and find one thing that no longer belongs. Not because you're being wasteful, but because you're making room to live again. Is there something in your fridge you've been avoiding? A little jar? A leftover that speaks louder than it should? I'd love to know. Sometimes sharing helps us let go. And now that we've made space inside, it's time to add something sweet and soulful back into the air. A scent so warm, it can shift the mood of your whole home with nothing but a simmering pot. 5. Simmer a pot of peace. When's the last time you simmered something? Not to eat, but just for the scent. This is one of the simplest joys I've rediscovered. All it takes is a small pot of water, a few orange peels, maybe a cinnamon stick or a sprig of rosemary. Let it simmer gently on the stove for 10 minutes. That's it. No recipe, no rush, just the steam carrying softness into every room. A dear friend of mine, Elaine, she's 73 and used to run a bakery, does this almost daily. She told me, "I stopped baking after my arthritis got worse, but when I simmer apple cores and cloves, it smells like I still have something in the oven. And that feels like I haven't left the kitchen." There's something unspoken many of us carry in this stage of life. We used to cook for someone. We used to fill the house with meals, with motion, with warmth. And now the silence in the kitchen feels louder than ever. Simmering brings that comfort back, without expectation, without effort. Just presence. I remember the first time I tried this. I was feeling particularly empty that day. The house felt cold even though the heat was on. I tossed in a handful of orange peel, a splash of vanilla, and let it bubble softly. And something shifted, not just in the room, but in me. The scent filled the hallway, and I suddenly felt accompanied. Like I had made something, even if I didn't need to serve anyone. Science agrees with the feeling. According to a study from Harvard, scent is the only sense directly tied to memory, and it can instantly shift mood and energy, especially in older adults. But I didn't need the research. I just needed that one breath of clove and citrus to believe it. You can do this too. It's not about being fancy. It's about letting your home smell like someone lives here. Someone who still stirs the pot, if only to remember she can. What would you simmer today if you could? Share your favorite comforting scents below. You might remind someone else of a forgotten smell they've been missing. And once the scent fades and the pot cools, there's another kind of flow we need to think about. The hidden kind, deep in our sinks and drains, where energy and scent quietly get stuck. Number 6, drain rituals. Do your sinks ever smell off, even when everything looks clean? You'd be surprised how much old water, grease, and time can sit in the drain and slowly change the scent of a whole room. But here's a small ritual that takes less than 5 minutes and makes a big difference. Once a week, pour boiling water down your drains, kitchen and bathroom. You can add a little baking soda or slice up a lemon and drop it in first. The steam rises, the drain clears, and suddenly the air feels newer. This is something my friend Lillian, 78, taught me years ago. She calls it pouring out the week. Every Sunday evening, she boils her kettle and feeds her drains before bed. I like knowing I've cleared what I don't need before a new week begins, she says. And you know what? Her home always smells light, not perfumed, just clean in a very lived-in way. There's something deeply symbolic about clearing out what you can't see. Many of us, especially as we grow older, get overwhelmed by the messes we can see. Dust, piles, clutter. But the energy that truly weighs us down often hides in the unseen. In the pipes, in the corners, in the places no one compliments us for cleaning. I used to ignore my drains completely. They weren't causing trouble, just dulling the space. Then one morning, I caught a whiff in the kitchen sink that reminded me of old dishwater and forgetfulness. That afternoon, I did Lillian's ritual. And when I poured the boiling water, I felt like I was letting something go. Not just the smell, but the week itself. An environmental study from the University of Colorado found that drain odors are one of the top 5 unnoticed causes of persistent indoor scent issues in older homes. But you don't need to deep clean. You just need warmth, water, and a little intention. You can do this too. Even if you only choose one drain, once a week, it sends a message to your space and to yourself that energy is allowed to move. Is there a sink or drain in your home that could use a quiet reset? Let me know in the comments. It may be the smallest act of release in your day, but one you'll feel every time you walk by. And now that we've cleared what lingers below, it's time to return to what connects all the spaces in your home, the invisible path between rooms that holds its own kind of scent memory. Number 7, the hallway pause. Do you ever walk through your hallway and realize you haven't really looked at it in years? The hallway is one of the most forgotten places in any home. We pass through it. We turn off the light, but we rarely pause. And yet, scent lives there too, quietly, invisibly. A simple way to bring that space back to life is this. Place a small bowl of baking soda with a few drops of essential oil, lavender, rosemary, or orange, on a shelf or inside a drawer. Replace it weekly. Add a soft light if you can. A lamp, a low-watt bulb. Something that says, "This space matters too." I remember visiting my friend Darlene, who's 82 and lives in a 1-bedroom apartment in Michigan. She had a tiny table in her hallway with a folded doily, a lavender sachet, and an old lamp with a yellow shade. "It's just for me," she said. "That hallway used to feel cold. Now it feels like a welcome between 2 moments." There's a quiet ache that many older women carry, that the places in their homes are slowly becoming invisible, just like parts of themselves. That only the kitchen and living room matter. But scent can change that. When a hallway smells warm, it stops being a space we rush through. It becomes a space we return to. For me, it started with one dried bundle of rosemary in a hallway vase. I didn't expect much, but within a week, I noticed myself pausing there, breathing, sometimes even whispering something kind to myself. It became a place of transition, not neglect. A home psychologist once wrote, "Spaces we ignore eventually become mirrors of how we feel inside." That line struck me, because for years, I had ignored the hallway. And deep down, I think I was ignoring part of myself too. You can do this too. You don't need to decorate. Just offer that space a scent, a flicker of light, a sense of care. Is there a hallway or corner in your home that's waiting to be remembered again? Let us know. Sometimes naming a space is the first step to loving it. And now that we've honored the places we pass through, let's turn inward, to the softest place of all, the place where your head rests each night, and the scent that can follow you into your dreams. 8. Pillow mist and bedtime breaths. What's the last thing your pillow smells like before you fall asleep? Scent at bedtime is more powerful than we realize. A simple mist, made from water, witch hazel, and a few drops of lavender or eucalyptus oil, can change not just how we sleep, but how we enter sleep. Spray it once over your pillow before bedtime. Breathe in. Let it tell your body that the day is over, that you're safe, that it's okay to let go now. A woman I once worked with, her name was Evelyn, 79, shared a bedtime habit I've never forgotten. She said, "I missed my pillow every night. It's like tucking myself in. No one else does it anymore, but I still deserve that softness." She smiled when she said it, and then she looked away, as if remembering something too tender to speak aloud. Many of us don't talk about how lonely bedtime can feel as we age, especially when we've lost someone. The bed gets colder, the air feels still, and falling asleep becomes harder, not because of noise, but because of quiet. A familiar scent can anchor us, remind us we're still here, still held. I used to dread bedtime, the stillness, the way the shadows fell differently after my husband passed. Then one evening, I tried misting my pillow with lavender and chamomile, just once, and something softened, not the grief, but the space around it. I didn't fall asleep faster, but I felt less alone in the process. There's real science behind it too. The National Institutes of Health reported that older adults who used lavender aromatherapy at bedtime showed significant improvements in sleep quality, calmness, and emotional regulation. You can do this too. Make it simple. A small glass bottle, a few drops of a scent that feels gentle. Let it become your signal that the day has closed and your body can rest. What would your pillow smell like if you could choose peace in a bottle? Share it below. Your scent might help someone else fall asleep a little easier tonight. And next, we move from the bedroom to the front door, a place where energy enters, and where a single habit can decide whether your home smells like peace or the outside world. Number 9, the shoes off rule. Do you wear outdoor shoes inside the house? It's such a small thing. One step, but it brings in everything from the outside: dust, oils, even odors from sidewalks, grocery aisles, waiting rooms. And over time, your home starts to carry those scents too. The habit is simple. Keep a small bench or chair by the door. Place a tray for your shoes, and have a clean pair of slippers waiting for you. Something soft that only walks your floors. My friend Nancy, who's 81 and still keeps her front porch swept every morning, told me this once: "My boots see the world, but they don't need to see my living room." I loved that, because it's not about being strict. It's about honoring the space that holds our rest. For many of us, especially growing up, taking off shoes indoors wasn't something we thought about. But now, as we get older, we begin to crave sanctuary. We want our home to feel like a boundary, not just a roof. I remember when I first started this. It felt strange at first. Then one day, I came home after running errands, kicked off my outside shoes, slipped into soft house socks, and I exhaled. My feet knew. The house felt calmer. It wasn't just cleaner, it was quieter. Studies from the American Lung Association show that removing shoes at the door can reduce up to 85% of indoor pollutants, including bacteria and invisible irritants. But beyond the science, it's the ritual that heals. It says, the outside world stops here. You can do this too, even if it's just one small tray, one clean pair of slippers, one invitation to your own peace. Do you already take off your shoes indoors? Or is this something you're thinking about starting? I'd love to hear how your entrance feels when you come home. And now, as we step through that door, there's one last habit. Quiet, almost invisible, but it might be the most powerful of them all. 10. The bowl of welcome. What's the very first scent you meet when you come home? Most people don't think about it, but that first breath, the one you take just after unlocking the door, can shape your entire sense of peace. That's why I keep a small bowl near the entrance. Inside it, a few dried orange peels, a cinnamon stick, and a cotton ball with 2 drops of clove oil. You could use lavender, cedarwood, or vanilla. Whatever feels like home to you. The scent is subtle, but every time I walk in, it greets me, and I greet myself. Eleanor, a widow I've known for years, keeps her welcome bowl on a shelf by the stairs. It doesn't smell strong, she said, but it reminds me someone still lives here, even if that someone is just me. Her words stayed with me a long time. There's a quiet fear many of us carry in later years, that no one's waiting for us at the door anymore, that no voice says, welcome home. But a scent can. It doesn't speak. It doesn't fuss. It just is, ready and gentle. The first time I made my own welcome bowl, I didn't expect anything. But 3 days later, I came home after a hard afternoon, opened the door, and that soft scent met me like an old friend. I stood still in the hallway. For the first time in months, I felt arrived. A recent memory and aging study from Emory University found that scent-based rituals in entryways can increase emotional grounding in older adults by over 40%. But even if there were no studies, I'd still do it. Because I've lived the difference. You can do this too. Find a small bowl. Gather a few gentle things. Let your home say hello again, quietly but lovingly. If you made your own welcome bowl, what would it smell like? Tell us in the comments. You never know. You might inspire someone else's return to themselves. And now, with this last breath of cinnamon, let's close our time together the way every peaceful home should end a day, with a slow exhale. Today wasn't really about scent. It was about presence, about noticing again, about coming back to your own space, not with force, but with care. These 10 habits aren't chores. They're invitations. They ask for just a minute, just a breath, just a little soft love passed between you and your walls. You don't have to try them all. Maybe you open a window tomorrow. Maybe you wipe one forgotten handle. Maybe you just sit quietly tonight and wonder what scent your hallway would like to carry. You can do this too. One small act at a time. One gentle shift in the air. That's all it takes to begin. I'd love to know, what's the one scent that makes you feel safe? That reminds you of home, even if home has changed? Leave a comment below. I read every one of them, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to feel a little more alive in their space again. And if this video brought you any comfort, any breath of memory or hope, send it to someone you love. A sister, a neighbor, someone who could use a little warmth in their home too. Until next time, take a deep breath. And remember, your home still knows how to hold you. Sometimes it just needs a little help remembering